Yeah. So, welcome to week 16 prayers and meditations by the Mother. And we have two prayers with us today. Let's see if we can take both two or maybe only one. We'll see it depending on the time. So, Feb 25, 26, 1914. So, Shweta, please, if you could just read it aloud.
Yeah, sure. Acha, my internet connection is unstable, but I'm going
Okay.
ahead and reading. Huh?
Okay. Thank you.
February 25th, 26th, 1914. He who wants to serve thee worthily should not be attached to anything, not even to the activities which enable him to commune more consciously with transit. Material things still take a greater place in life than usual. One must know how not to become absorbed by them, how to keep in one's inmost heart the clear vision of thy presence and live constantly in that serene peace which nothing can disturb. Oh, to do everything, seeing only thee everywhere, and thus soar above the act that has been carried out, without letting any chain that holds us prisoners to the earth burden our flight. O Lord, grant that the offering I make to Thee of my being may be integral and effective. With a respectful and loving devotion, I bow down before Thee, O ineffable essence, inconceivable reality, nameless one. So beautiful, no? Like this line, no? O Lord, grant that the offering I make to Thee of my being may be integral and effective. This is such a regular prayer, it's so difficult, and yet you seek that, grant from the divine that, to help you be that. Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead, Shweta, if you want to share more today. Only both
At
of us. So,
yeah, at present, yeah, I don't have anything else, but
hmm,
this line just stayed with me.
hmm, hmm,
It is a daily prayer that, help me be integral and effective. Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
And
Thank
you
you.
see how it disperses in your, day-to-day routine activity, your interaction, your job, everything. It is so difficult to, be so vigilant moment by moment and not to give in to the blames and the praises, and, again, not to feel troubled or elated. And it is such a game. And, like, you start with this prayer and you kind of manage the day. You come back, you reflect, and you again say, okay, tomorrow you can do better. And it's a continuous prayer. Yeah.
Totally, totally. Yeah. I think we बाबर हम बात करते हैं ना that we forget. So maybe once I with a very strong intention I say that grant that the offering I make to thee of my being. So I'm giving my being. I'm offering my being for towards surrendering to the divine. But then we forget. So when in the middle of the battlefield we forget and we, uh, I would say we shake hands with the ego rather than
I mean,
offering
you
to the divine.
don't even realize, and like अकेले बैठते हो, contemplate करते हो, कितना clarity आता है, and you
Hmm.
feel okay, and you move forward with that clarity and integrity, and again it dissipates, and again it dissipates. कितना calm है यार, like it seems like never ending. Yes, like you understand, you get it and all, but वो समझ आता है कि someday less, someday more, but it does dissipate. Yeah.
Hmm. And what you shared that it has to be done moment to moment, moment by moment. Because one moment, as Kabir in one of the couplets, he says that I have made my house on the top peak of the mountain, and the road is so narrow that even an ant slips, an ant can.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's the vigilance moment by moment that is required.
And also, like you when you're working, I feel like there are certain things that, they ask for a certain way of behavior. And then sometimes you don't know कि क्या करें, and then जो हम इसका भी अभी जो कर रहे हैं ना साथ में, about the way of living the truths, you know, like जो हम Thursdays को meditation में करते हैं,
Hmm.
it all feels so contradictory. Like if you follow how to manage in this, you know, material world, and understand that, you know what, sometimes like so many things in the long run they help, you know,
Hmm.
like I would say like I work with very small children, and
Hmm.
abhi mujhe samajh aata hai ki post covid, you know, like there is so much of, you know, restlessness in children, so much restlessness, and you know, like to just help them calm down, settle, from where to start, and you know, with uh, few of them really going berserk, and you know, फिर ये भी है कि only being calm, sometimes children need little more assertiveness, और
Hmm.
वो फिर, you know, you try to do that, and end of the day you're not feeling good about it, but वो, you know, उनके लिए, you know that in the long run it will help them, and you know
True, true.
थोड़ा सा cohesiveness चाहिए and all, and
Hmm.
it's such a battle every day. I feel very troubled till, you know, like things settle down.
Hmm.
It's a different energy now post COVID, and with little children also, you know,
Yeah,
it's going to take a longer time.
yeah,
So to you know, tell yourself ki, yes, it's going to take time, it's okay, one day at a time, one day. So every day with mother's blessings, and you know, you know, it's such little innocent ones, and give me the strength to, you know, like get them together,
yeah.
and yet you need to be sometimes assertive, and you know, like क्योंकि एक दो के पीछे फिर सब डिस्पर्स हो जाते हैं सबका,
True.
तो वो उनको साथ में लाना,
Hmm.
ये so
Hmm.
I every night I seek forgiveness, you know, with
Hmm.
I in my prayers I speak to every child, and I say ki, you know, like tomorrow is better, and like today with, you know, I just reflect and I talk to them and I love them in my thoughts, and again ki ठीक है कल हम मिलकर साथ में, you know, I talk to just the soul to soul talking चल रहा है, लेकिन it is yeah, this year is little different. बच्चों में क्योंकि ये 2 साल घर के अंदर रहे हैं, बातें करना ही सो डिफिकल्ट है, लिसनिंग है ही नहीं, मतलब कहाँ से शुरू करे, कहाँ से बिठाए, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट, and to go your way with the calmness and love and affection, sometimes it's very difficult, you know,
Yeah,
this way.
yeah. मुझे लगता है, I feel that more and more I see that in challenging situations, I have to raise my voice,
Hmm.
and shout, and maybe become angry, and totally agree that with children we need to be, many a times the strictness is required. But मुझे लगता है, and as you said that at towards the end of the day, something in us knows that we could have been better. We could have maybe done without that raising the voice, or whatever. But anyway, at the present moment, whatever stage of evolution we are at, the thing is that I have to accept that my presence, just the presence, is not full of love.
यही तो
है
ना
ना?
मोनिका, या
You
नहीं
feel
तो
that?
ये
हाँ.
नहीं,
Hmm.
actually what I'm contesting is this only. Okay,
Hmm.
if I'm not convinced about, you know, like going that way,
Hmm.
and yet as, you know, as a role that is
Hmm.
expected, so
Hmm.
यहाँ पे my presence doesn't allow me
Hmm.
to go that way, and yet
Hmm.
you know, like वो confusion वहां पे, contest वहीं पर है कि, because
Hmm.
see at home with my children I know that I never feel that I am a parent, or you know, I am a nobody. So that's been a relationship कि I'm a nobody, so then it becomes easy कि role wise मेरे बच्चे हैं, लेकिन you know, it's okay, whatever happens, the soul journey, and we're there with like 4 souls staying together, you know, so let's like be together and just be there for each other. There is तो वो नहीं आ जाता है, नो अथॉरिटी या आई एम रिस्पॉन्सिबल और आई एम इन चार्ज, दैट, but when you are a teacher in a classroom, though
Hmm.
this clarity is there, and yet you know, you you अब 2 महीने में कुछ तो क्लास में रिजल्ट, you know, you have to get them together, so
Hmm.
that pressure which you're not convinced कि it's
Hmm.
okay, somewhere I feel it will take as much time as it takes, and it's okay. I'm building
Mm.
relationship one to one, I'm working. This chaos will remain. Maybe it will take 4 months, 5 months. That is what comes, to me naturally. But I feel as a job role, and I have to work better at doing this. So that contradiction of a
Mm.
role and
Mm.
what your inner
Mm.
natural thought is,
Mm.
wahi समझ नहीं आता. It's very
Yeah,
difficult.
everything takes time. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. मतलब I think even Jiddu Krishnamurti or other people who have talked about education have said that maybe the teachers in these such schools or in general for good
Hmm.
education, the teachers actually need to be yogis.
Yeah.
So if I'm not parallelly uh, doing, as we talk about inner work, the inner
Yeah.
work and the road towards enlightenment, or knowing myself closely and truly, if that is not happening, which takes time, it
Which
it
takes
it is
time.
happening, but it takes time, so I can't just exponentially increase the, yeah, time period. So I understand your dilemma totally. Yeah, everything takes time.
Also, there's a pressure, ना मतलब ये time
Yeah.
तक ये होना है, ये होना है, वो होना है.
Ah,
As a management, everything which personally you want to
yeah,
contest,
yeah, yeah. Totally,
तो
totally.
समझ नहीं
Yeah.
आता.
Not easy, not easy.
Not easy. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, what I mean is this thing, na, like every day, I feel like I pray that let that integrity be there, for
Yeah.
every child, and let me
Yes.
not lose my presence.
Yes. I think
So,
that really helped because it purifies the intention again and
yeah,
again. Yeah, beautiful.
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I thought I'll share something with you which I saw today,
Mm-hmm.
and it just showed me the power of presence, that the person may not presence, and what we were talking about, the purification of intention. So if a person's intention is pure, and there is true genuine uh, wanting benefit of others at heart, then how that presence can be so overpowering, that words are not required and things happen. So let's see,
Wow. Yeah, yeah,
let's see
go.
this. Yeah. So this is one of the chimpanzees being taken away from, like a caged facility. Now they are being given out in a sanctuary, like a big national forest kind of a thing.
Mm.
And it's like only short we'll see, not the
Yeah,
whole
sure.
thing.
Oh.
Yeah. So
So
it just,
beautiful.
yeah, it
ये
really,
रिश्ता बनने में लेकिन टाइम लगता है ना.
yeah,
कितना
exactly.
unconditional time,
Yeah,
unconditional investment, like
yeah, yeah.
that, then you reach this. And
Yes, yes. But I think वही जो आप intention you were talking about, that offering that may I be able to
yeah,
benefit the kids,
yes,
whoever I am. So that
absolutely.
constant purification of intention, I think that really matters
Yes.
very much, very
Oh,
much.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You see it, but then like day to day difference, connection with the child. But all I
Mm.
mean is, all this takes time. Like
Mm.
so many children, one by one by one.
Mm.
It's like it takes a lot of time, and
Yeah.
that is where, yeah, you won't
Actually,
see.
वही है ना कि
Huh?
मतलब I think in our education, in our life in general, we we are so outwardly focused on achieving things, that we begin very late, I would say. We, this inner work and truly living from a deep sense of open heart, this starts after many crude experiences. And I feel that this could start early. That's what my
Yeah.
feeling is, that this can
Yes.
start early. Yeah.
So true. So true. Yeah, matlab for us also, na, for me, so it's been a journey. Like, I don't think like uh 10 years ago, itna, unknowingly, you were like doing that with your children and feeling in charge and feeling the structure and all. Gradually evolve, okay, it's just getting more and more, uh, you know, open and fluid and so beautiful. You understand better and you want to do better now.
Hmm.
But yeah, but yeah, it should start early.
So I think we, now that we have at least started, maybe our children,
Oh,
the
yes.
younger generations can benefit starting early, knowing that how important it is to really truly be in touch with the heart, the depths of our heart, and live from there, no matter how short or long the life may be.
Absolutely.
So today I was reading something on Upanishads and Sri Aurobindo's commentary on Ishavasya Upanishad, which I feel would go very well along with this what we were reading. So let us go through this. I'll put it on screen, and yeah. So basically, he starts to talk about, say, I am Devdutt, and there is another person who is Harishchandra, and how, as Devdutt, I can enjoy or rejoice if Harishchandra is enjoying his life with all the material success. So, how to be rejoicing in others' success? And
Mudita.
yeah,
Mm.
exactly, Mudita. And then he was sharing that since everything is one only, since all is divine, so can I know that that which is rejoicing in Harishchandra is me only?
Wow.
So I felt that that was very powerful. I felt it like it connected some dots in me, that why should I enjoy in others' happiness? Because since everywhere there is divine, and the same divine is manifesting in different forms, or animals, or the sentient beings. So if another person is happy,
Mm.
then I can delight, because who am I? I am the Brahman, I am the true self,
Yeah.
and there I am delighting in the body of
Wow.
this. So that really, was a
Yeah.
very interesting way of putting
Very
it.
profound because
Yeah,
generally it's the other way around, na?
yeah,
By default, like वही लगता है अरे मतलब उसके साथ तो सब अच्छा हो रहा
yeah. And
है.
people, people, I have been in touch with many people who feel very troubled, like jealous, that how can I be happy for him when I myself am not doing well. So
Mm-hmm.
he's sharing that why you should be happy for him, because when you become happy for him, that he's enjoying the success, then you're actually putting your true self forward, and you're not living from the sense of ego, which is always limited, constricted, and lives with this separateness. And then he goes further, and he goes through altruism, the spirit of selflessness. So let's read this. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this. So he's talking about our gradual progression, that we have to leave our lower instincts and to go towards Godward instincts like love, compassion, selflessness, altruism. Why? Because that is my true nature. And that is why we were sharing that if we work with jealousy, ambition, greed, it all troubles us. Why? Because it's not our true nature. Yeah?
Actually, yeah, that is so true. So true.
I think
Because
that's
yeah,
where, yeah, please
yeah,
go ahead.
daily conflict is that because you relate and you feel this, and when you go for a job, obviously it comes down to your ego and ambition only, na? Like somewhere you want to fit in. तो उसी में आ जाता है फिर कि आप कैसे खुद के जो वैल्यूज या खुद का जो इनर एसेंस है उसको कैसे बढ़ावा दोगे बिकॉज दैट कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट्स तो वो हो
Yeah.
जाता है True.
So I think mother also talks about this sense of unease,
Hmm.
to be very sensitive to that moment you feel that you've spoken a word and it makes you uneasy. It was not a maybe nice word to speak, So mother says that be very sensitive to that unease, because that is how you will know whether it's I'm working from the deepest of heart or psychic being, or I'm working from the ego surface
Ego.
consciousness. और बच्चों में mother specially shares with the little one, she shares that since kids are mostly in the beginning, they live from their open hearts and psychic being. So in the beginning, if we can sensitize them that, okay, how did you feel when you hurt that child or whatever, and if the child is honest in the beginning, they are honest, all of them, they would say, that I did not feel very nice in the beginning.
Hmm.
But usually what happens is that if the child has done that enough, he begins to fool and he says, I felt very nice. I've also seen that one is not then honest to oneself. So
Yeah,
yeah.
true, true. The challenge is like at another level only. I think children are so much used to instructions. अभी
Hmm.
घर पे बैठ कर ना इतना
Hmm.
ज़्यादा
Too much
do
adult
this
influence. Yes.
too much, and no space to explore, no openness.
True.
So they've got used to selective and convenient listening. तो
Hmm.
बहुत वो है. But like they're looking forward to somebody who's unconditional, and
Hmm.
so it's yeah, it's a long way to go,
Hmm.
with especially this batch of children
Hmm.
who are so different, and they deserve so much more because
Yeah.
of how these last 2 years have been. I think throughout, I'm not talking about like only little children, but I think throughout,
Yeah.
ये 2 साल ने बच्चों पे बहुत बहुत ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट
हम्म,
किया है.
लेकिन पता है इसका पॉजिटिव साइड भी दिख रहा है मुझे, नाउ दैट यू आर शेयरिंग इट, दैट सिंस वी नो दैट दे हैव ऑलमोस्ट बीन इन काइंड ऑफ अ कैप्टिविटी एंड
Mm.
changed because of that, then I think that it requires even more diligence on my part, that I become full of love so that I can spill it out, because now
Yeah,
that they need it even more than before. So
really, really.
mm.
That's so true. That's so
So
true.
that maybe awakens us, the adults, that we have to be better and better and better for our children.
नहीं, but पता है थोड़ा collective पे भी काम करना है. Like
हाँ,
collect. I'm talking about adults.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah.
वही है.
True, true. Yeah, lots of work needed.
Lots of
Mm,
work. अपने पर भी obviously, but
mm,
वही है कि सब
mm,
सब adults को बहुत reflect करना है.
yeah.
बहुत reflect
You know,
करना है.
one more story is coming to me before we embark on this. So I was going through this book that I've been reading on Jane Goodall. She's sharing her spiritual adventures and whatever she has been through. So उसमें एक story में क्या बताती है कि many a times if for example I am vegan, you
Hmm.
know then when I meet people who are not vegan, there is a hate that is there usually that I carry for
Hmm.
people who are not vegans. But she has not been like that, from the very beginning. So what happened that once she was in her maybe celebrating birthday in a restaurant somewhere,
Hmm.
and the waitress came and she knew that who Jane Goodall is, and the waitress had a very kind of a resentful attitude towards her, because she said that you are against animal research and all that, and you would not know that my daughter is saved because of the research on dogs, for example.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
So she was listening, and the waitress was very abusive and kind of
Oh.
rude to her. And she was listening and she kept silent for some time. And then she said, that my mother also has a pig valve in her heart. This is what Jane is sharing. And she shares that, um, and I love pigs. And I feel very grateful to those pigs who could make possible this research, that human heart now can have a pig
Hmm.
heart or pig
Hmm.
valve. And because they have done so much for me, I would like that their conditions be even better than what they are right now in the research area, for example. Now, when I read this, I thought, what a beautiful way of sharing, you know, that instead of hate, that no, this should not happen, or no, we have to be kind to animals. The way she, grew in her compassion and love, that because they are helping me so much, it's my responsibility that I make their conditions even better.
Wow.
So, and it showed that immediately the waitress was very, she went very kind of soft in her heart. That that's true, that's true. That because the dogs are helping my child, shouldn't I make conditions favorable for the dog?
Exactly. And she's not in denial ना कि ये तो
Hmm.
हो रहा है, but साथ में हम कैसे इसको, मतलब with that कि we are helping each other,
Hmm.
let's accept,
Hmm.
yeah, and then let's be there for each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So knowing, for example, considering also the parents who are involved, that knowing that the conditions have been difficult for all of us, and children have, since they are so moldable in this age, suffered the most. So can we all together change
Yeah.
ourselves a bit, soften our hearts a bit, so that they can deserve
Absolutely.
better. Yeah.
And everybody wants to,
Hmm.
that's just that everybody needs that light, that guidance,
Hmm.
somebody, some anchor to show the path. if हर एक का intention है, but सारे ही इसमें इतने भाग दौड़ में लगे हुए. Life has been very challenging for everybody. And
Hmm.
it's not been easy with children at home and job and तो हर कोई एक सहारा ही ढूंढ रहा है, and just
Yeah.
let's be there for each other.
Yeah.
And just let it be organic and see where it goes, like not have
Absolutely.
targets for this year. That's what I feel,
Absolutely, absolutely. And let the target only be more and more love,
yeah.
if the target could be that. Yeah. Yeah.
Very. Actually, at least you can be the change you want to see. That's what I do.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but sometimes वो हो जाता है ना, थोड़ा judgment आ जाता है, तो you
Hmm.
then question yourself,
Hmm.
So
So I'll go through this once and then. Okay, so that student is asking, how is the preference of others to myself? Now, this is very similar to what we study in the Bodhisattva path, that make others more precious than you. So, how is the preference of others to myself inevitable? So, Sri Aurobindo is saying that it's inevitable. It is inevitable because as I have risen from the beast to the man, so must I rise from the man to the God and of the Godhead. This preference is the perennial well and fountain. Evolution meaning simply the wider and wider revelation of Brahman. So, because I have the possibility to develop into the Godhead, to make it manifest, hence this preference of making others more precious is very inevitable for me. It's like very genuine. The progress from the falsehood of matter to the truth of spirit, and this progress, however slow, is inevitable. It is natural because I am not really preferring another to myself. Now, here is the revelation. It is natural because I am not really preferring another to myself, but my true self to my false. God who is in all to my single body and mind. So when I am giving others more preciousness and importance, I am not making others more important. I am making the true self, the Brahman in all, the more important one. And the ego self, I am giving a back seat. It is right because it is better for me to enjoy the enjoyment of Harish Chandra than to enjoy my own, since in this way shall I make my knowledge of Brahman a reality and not mere intellectual conception. So it will become like manifest for me when I'm in action. I am able to make more others more precious than me. Their time is more precious than me. Their effort is more precious than me. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in action that there is divine in all, and it has to be respected in each. For this reason, perfect love, because love is this unifying force, because in love for children, in love for spouse or siblings, we do anything, we cross our borders. So he's saying, for this reason, perfect love, by which I do not mean the mere sensual impulse of man towards woman. The perfect love is a great and ennobling thing, for by its means, two separated conditions of the universal consciousness come together and become one. So, even if two people are coming together, for some reason, we see that, for example, for a child, if I am in love with a child who may be not my own, He may not be my own child, but I have a fondness for that child. So what I'll do is I'll do my best and cross my egoistic thresholds in order to benefit the other one. So he's saying that this perfect love, true love, it brings two separate things together in a universal consciousness. And then he talks about philanthropy and altruism. He says, still nobler and more ennobling is the love of a patriot who lives and dies for his country. For in this way he becomes one with millions of divine units, and still greater, nobler, more exalting, the soul of a philanthropist who, without forgetting family or country, lives and dies for mankind or for all creatures. He is the wisest Muni, the greatest yogi, who not only reaches Brahman by the way of jnana, not only soars to him on the wings of bhakti, but becomes he through God devoted karma, who gives himself up utterly for his family, friends, for country, for humanity, for world, and when he can, even for the solar system and systems upon systems. So he says how wide we can become when we make others more precious than our own selves. So this, I found this very very enlightening, that usually in Buddhism we talk of,
Yes, it is
you know,
enlightening.
yeah.
All this is like it just resonates so beautifully. All I find challenging is, Monica, like actually applying it when you are in the world, and like वो आपको पता भी है, but वो तब ये सब जानते हुए भी, समझते हुए भी ना, नहीं हो पाता. कोई दिन
Hmm.
होता है, कोई दिन नहीं होता है. Every day is so different. You prepare and enter the battlefield,
Hmm.
and then you again, like वो फिर end of the day only you calibrate, reflect and understand. अरे बाबा,
Hmm.
like फिर से यहाँ छूट गया, वहां छूट गया, फिर से ईगो ने ले लिया. Like कहीं पे आपकी अंदर की truth, you know it, and you didn't bank on that, and yet you went by what is needed and what
Hmm.
is expected. So ये जो है ना कि
Hmm.
आप जानते हो और फिर भी आप वो कर नहीं पाते हो.
Yeah.
आई थिंक ये शिफ्ट बहुत, I don't know, it's like I think it takes a long 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 time, that shift.
Hmm. True, true. No, totally.
अंदर मतलब कितने अच्छे से सब कुछ हो, और 4 लोगों में तो बहुत अच्छे से होता है, अपने घर पे तो
Hmm.
अच्छे से हो पाता है. फिर 10 लोगों में दिक्कत, 20 में और दिक्कत. Like when
Hmm.
you have like 30, a classroom, or a team full, 30-40 people, then all
Hmm.
तो तब to stick to what you believe, and तब याद रहना, तब अप्लाई करना, तब हर चीज में उसका एप्लीकेशन आना समझ के, ये ऑथेंटिसिटी पता नहीं कब डेवलप होगा. मतलब
Hmm.
it's such a ongoing process.
Ongoing process, totally,
हाँ.
totally, totally. And I think, as mother said, to Judith Tyberg, Jyoti Priya, uh, mother told her that your psychic is already in front. You're open, and now whatever work you are doing, even for her, so whose psychic is in totally front, she is living from the psychic all the time. Mother is telling her that whatever difficulties now you face in the divine work, know that those are the difficulties that lie inside you. So
Yeah,
mother makes
I've
it
heard
clear
this
for each one
very
of us, that
absolutely. Yeah.
whatever work I am involved in, and if I face a difficulty, then I have to reflect that, okay, what is it that I can work within myself, maybe a new window that I have to
हाँ, यही
look
तो है
for.
ना डेली वर्क. बट
Daily
यही
work.
है कि
Yeah.
रोज रोज आप ट्रबल्ड होते हो, वर्क करते हो, फिर रोज ट्रबल्ड होते हो, फिर वर्क करते हो. तो आई थिंक वही है कि हाउ स्ट्रांग यू आर, और आपकी
Yeah.
जर्नी कितनी है,
Yeah.
कितना ज्यादा प्यूरिफिकेशन चाहिए. एवरी डे लाइक यू से ना, पुट इट इन द purification fire. This
Hmm.
thing, like going beyond judgments, what others pass, and sticking. ये मतलब if you are feeling troubled and all, then obviously ना there is ego working. Ego is like so strong.
Hmm.
So ये it's like, yeah, तो वो है daily thing. So
Totally,
it's so
totally.
beautiful, and you resonate. But yeah, to actually like वही understanding से realization and then application, इट्स लाइक अ डेली, कुछ दिन
Totally.
अच्छे जाते हैं, फिर कुछ
Hmm.
दिन वो बैक एंड फोर्थ ना
Hmm.
चलता रहता है. एंड आई
Hmm.
अंडरस्टैंड दैट इवन इन दिस बैक एंड फोर्थ देयर इज अ शिफ्ट, मतलब
Yeah, yeah.
looking back you understand, okay, and somehow I feel this is going to be lifelong, back and
Hmm.
forth, back and forth.
Hmm.
आप जाते रहते हो, but I think in the larger scenario, yes, you do shift, but
Yeah, yeah.
why so?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think जो कबीर का बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग आई फील इस पे पर्सपेक्टिव है फॉर दोज ऑफ अस हु आर नॉट येट ऑन द पाथ. उनको तो वो कहते हैं कि जागो जागो जागो, कि जल्दी करो लेट हो जाएगा. हाँ. And for those of us who are on the path, what you were sharing, to them he says, "Dheere dheere re mana." Because we grow in steps. Darkness to
Yeah,
light, we are growing, and it's not one day process.
one-day
And to
process.
be kind to ourselves, that everything takes time. Yeah.
नहीं नो, क्योंकि ऐसे भी है ना, चलो अपने में ही बैठो कितना मजेदार,
Hmm.
ऑल इज वेल, बट दैट इज नॉट द ट्रू टेस्ट ना. वही है कि यू हैव टू गो आउट देयर एंड देन यू हैव टू, like every day is like, but I'm sure, like, if you have your essence within, somewhere challenges are there, but also because of these challenges you keep pondering more, you keep
Absolutely,
reflecting more, and
absolutely.
so कहीं पे ग्रोथ ही हो रहा है, कहीं
ग्रोथ ही
पे
है,
ऑथेंटिसिटी बढ़ ही रहा
बढ़
है.
ही रहा है,
बट
बिल्कुल.
लेकिन ये होगा नहीं तो वो भी नहीं होगा.
हाँ हाँ बिल्कुल.
Right.
Totally, totally. In Savitri, Sri Aurobindo shares that the universe or the manifestation earth is like a gymnasium for the purusha. So the more the weight, the more muscles I have the power to grow.
Actually,
So
yeah,
yeah, we grow through our challenges.
true,
Absolutely.
true. Yeah, that is true.
Great. So let's come back to the prayer. He who wants to serve thee worthily should not be attached to anything, not even to those activities which enable him to commune more consciously with thee. For example, I may feel that I feel so one in meditation, I feel so one when I am sitting in a temple or next to the samadhi. So, I think the indication is that wherever we are able to commune with the divine in us. So, no attachment to one particular activity that this has to be this way. This is how I find peace. So, he who wants to serve thee worthily should not be attached to anything, not even to those activities which enable him to commune more consciously with thee. But if, as a result of the totality of circumstances, material things still take a greater place. So, for example, I know that at the moment I still have this need for going to a temple or sitting next to mother's picture to have my peace and kind of communion. The material things are more taking a greater place in life than usual. One must know how not to become absorbed by them. For example, it should not happen that the moment I'm in front of mother, I'm completely peaceful, but then the moment I'm out of that area, I'm utterly confused. So, one must know how not to become absorbed by them, how to keep in one's inmost heart the clear vision of thy presence, and live constantly in thy serene peace which nothing can disturb. So, whether I am next to the samadhi, whether I am in front of the picture of the mother, whether I am in the sangha that I feel supported with, whether or not I am in these safe zones, I have in my inmost heart very clear vision and feeling of divine presence. So, this when happens gradually, if I have the intention to make it happen, then wherever I am, in the temple, in the prison, outside prison, in the battlefield, outside the battlefield, maybe in a samadhi, I will have, I'll have mother in the heart or divine in the heart and feel very convinced that I'm being taken care of and I can commune wherever I am. So, this is our possibility. This is where we can reach. Or to do everything, seeing only thee everywhere. Now, this would very much resonate with what we were sharing on Isha Upanishad. to see divine everywhere that we go, although it may be challenging, but things that are challenging are worth approaching. Or to do everything seeing only thee everywhere, that the divine is everywhere I go, and thus soar above the act that has been carried out without letting any chain that holds us prisoners to the earth burden our flight. So, whatever pulls me down, that this is not the place where I am supposed to be. Mother is sharing that wherever you are, no matter how difficult or bothersome or challenging the circumstance may be, if you have this in your heart that the divine is with me all the time in me, and seeing everywhere that yes, here also divine presence, there also divine presence, then I will not let myself be prisoned by this, the burden of material. O Lord, grant that the offering I make to thee of my being may be integral and effective. So, in this way, when I approach the divine surrender, that I am now offering my presence to you, the divine, to you, the higher intelligence, and no matter where I am, I can do this offering, irrespective of the circumstance. So grant that the offering I make to thee of my being be integral. So nothing in me would want anything else but the divine. And with the divine, we can in oblique say perfection, beauty, harmony, love, and compassion. This all is divine. With a respectful and loving devotion, I bow down before thee, O ineffable essence, ineffable essence, that which you cannot grasp. This is the beauty that comes again and again with mother's prayer, that the divine cannot be grasped, the ego cannot have the divine, but we can live in the divine, we can live as the divine, but we cannot grasp the divine. O ineffable essence, inconceivable reality, O nameless one, that which cannot be put into words, but we can experience, we can have glimpses of those experiences where we know that there is a communion. So I think this is really traveling towards our deeper and higher possibility that man, as the man is born like an more like an animal, we have the possibility of moving towards our godhead, awakening the inner godhead, which would also completely correlate with what we talk in bodhi sattva path, that awakening the enlightened heart and mind. So I see the lower impulse in me, but I choose not to follow it because I've done that enough. So awakening and growing the divine in me. So since this is a short one, we'll take this up. I think we'll be on time still. February 27, 1914. So let's read this. Snehi, would you like to read now that you are here?
Yeah. February 27, 1914. O Lord, I sense the infinite happiness which is the portion of those whose life is entirely consecrated to Thee. And this does not depend upon outer circumstances, but on one's own state of being and its greater or lesser degree of illumination. A perfect consecration to Thy law cannot but bring about modifications in the totality of circumstances. Yet it is not these which make possible and express this perfect consecration. I mean that it is not under certain circumstances, always the same for all, that thy law is manifested. For every one, this manifestation is different according to his temperament, that is, according to the mission which for the moment is assigned to him in physical life. But what is unchangeable and universal is the happy peace, the luminous and immutable serenity of all those who are solely consecrated to thee, who no longer have any darkness, ignorance, egoistic attachment, or bad will in them. Oh, may all awake to this divine peace.
Thank you so much. So this is so beautiful, and by chance it also connect with what we were sharing in Isha Upanishad. We'll read a bit more there to which it connects. And nowadays, we see that living the lifestyles that we have, many of us go into depression. And with most of us, the case is that we are so self-obsessed. Our focus is just my little self. So mother is sharing the recipe for happiness. And today I was talking to a relative who has been not well, a certain depressive situation has been there. And exactly this I was sharing, that as long as I continue to just focus on my needs, my happiness, how can I make myself happy, I will be miserable. And the moment I forget about myself, okay, let me offer my presence and skills and talents and abilities, whatever I have, to whoever I can offer it to, the joy that comes through it takes care of all the depression. That if for a moment I can forget my little self, only for a moment, if I can forget, yes, the depression may be there, I can just keep it aside for some time. That okay, I am healthy body, relatively functional, relatively intelligent. How can I offer my presence and time to the world? And this takes care of all the depression. And nowadays I think the lifestyles that we have are so narrow, and mostly so narrow and in our own little four walls, that there are more and more cases of depression because of this. That the universe is telling us as if that you're not born for these walls, you're born for more, opening up your heart. So this happiness that comes when we offer our life to the divine work, the sense of joy. Mother says, oh Lord, I sense this infinite happiness, which is the portion of those. And Mother is sharing that to who people, which are the people to whom this happiness comes, to those whose life is entirely consecrated to thee. So now this is a very good check for me. I believe, that if some unhappiness is there that I can sense in me today, or sadness in me today, I can see that uh, maybe I have again become constricted in my ego self. Maybe I'm thinking too much of myself. And the moment I convert it, shift it, that okay, how can I benefit others, for whom, for example, I am working, immediately, as if a sense of development and progress comes, that okay, what can I do? Like I can plan this, and I can, maybe do these techniques and these agendas and whatever. So the mind also becomes active. The mind becomes active for good. It's not the circular pattern of thoughts. The thought is being used for good work. And I have certain joy and elation in my being, that how can I offer my presence, time and skill for the benefit of others. So I'm switching the tab, because I want to share this, which I read today in the Isha Upanishad, this one. Mm, yeah. It means that if we give up our own petty personal joy and pleasure to bathe up to the eyes in the joys of others, and the joys of one man may be as great as you please. So even if I'm able to rejoice in one person's happiness, that wow, look how happy that person would be in that situation, and rejoicing, feeling that happiness in me, the united joys of 100 must be, needs be greater. So people who are working for more people, then they also can rejoice more. By renunciation, you can increase your enjoyments 100-fold If you are a true patriot, you will feel the joys not of one man, but of 300 millions. If you are a true philanthropist, all the joys of the countless millions of earth will flow through your soul like an ocean of nectar. So, thus, just we were looking at this small clip of Jane Goodall, releasing chimps. Now, imagine the amount of happiness she would receive when more and more chimps are being released from the cages and out in the open. Look at that rejoicing in the happiness one can have. So, more joy. The more connection I have, the more joy. But you say their sorrows will flow there too, which is very true. For example, if more chimps are suffering, so Jane Goodall would feel, more sadness, which is true, that I feel the suffering of others. That too, Sri Aurobindo says, that too. So if I feel the suffering of others, that too is an agony of sweetness which exalts the soul to paradise. That you can turn into joy, the unparalleled joy of relieving and turning into bliss the woes of the nation for which you sacrifice yourself, or of the humanity in whom you are trying to realize God. So this very closely relates with the Tonglen technique. That if I consume the suffering like Shiva consumes the suffering of others and holds it in his throat, if I'm able to sense the pain and suffering of others, which is beautiful, how can I turn it into joy? I inhale, I take in the darkness and clouds of the others, and hence this relieves that, thank God I am able to do something for others, that nobody knows, but I am able to inhale that suffering of others, and may those beings be relieved of their sorrow. So this, even when I am able to connect with more sadness, that also exalts the soul, because the soul is much 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 more powerful and stronger than what it we imagine it to be. So it can take in all the poison and turn it into joy. That's how it works. So just towards the end, he shares that this resolute effort to do this, that let me inhale and take care of suffering of the others, this resolute effort to do this is a joy unspeakable. Even defeat in such a cause is a stern pleasure when it strengthens the soul for new and ceaseless endeavor. And the souls worthy of sacrifice derive equal strength from defeat and victory. Remember that it is not the weak in spirit to whom the Eternal gives Himself wholly. It is the strong, heroic soul that reaches God. So, what is expected of us is far greater than what we think we are capable of. Others can only touch his shadow from afar. In this way, the man who renouncing the little self, renouncing the ego. In this way, the man who renounces the little, he can call his own for the good of others, gets in return, and can utterly enjoy all that is world in this moving universe. So this, I believe, is a possibility for each one of us, not even for, we cannot say that I'm not born for this and maybe some other great fellows are born for this. For each one of us, this is a possibility. In whatever little field, if we selflessly offer ourselves, we become connected to joys of so many as well as with the sorrows of so many. And I feel that that's really a life worth lived. And we are more capable than just living for two or three people or living inside the four walls of our house, thinking that how unworthy and incapable I am. So this is what I wanted to share on the prayer. By chance the prayer also really resonated with this, that one gets infinite happiness when I consecrate my life, give my life to the divine work, to the divine. And then the outer circumstances really don't matter much. They do matter, but they only help me grow in my strength and abilities. And then towards the end, Mother shares, but what is unchangeable and universal is the happy peace, the luminous and immutable serenity of all those who are solely consecrated to Thee, who no longer have any darkness, ignorance, egoistic attachment, or bad will in them. Oh, may all awake to this divine peace, because we all deserve it. We were talking in the beginning that those children, for example, really deserve more love, more peace. And we also, as adults, we all of us deserve this birthright, the divine peace, which comes when we offer our life to some good work, no matter how little spare it may be. And slowly, this offering of ourselves in work also helps in purification of any darkness, any egoistic ill will, any attachment is there. It comes up, and then I'm able to get it. Like, it doesn't matter in the work, in the front of the work that I'm doing, my little needs, little demands, little attachments, they just have no value slowly. That's what we realize. So we are able to let go of the egoistic attachments very easily then, once we truly offer ourselves to good work. So that's our possibility for each one of us, and may we all grow in our possibilities and realize how truly fortunate we are. And no matter wherever we are, we can start, we can make a start, and we can offer ourselves time, effort, any little sphere that we want to begin with, selflessly, not thinking that what will I get, thinking that how, what can I offer in this little area. And that itself is joy. This offering, self-giving, samarpan is joy.
Very beautiful.
Yeah.
Can you share that link for that paragraph incarnate वो जो आप पढ़ रहे थे उपनिषद का?
हाँ, एक मिनट.
इधर नहीं, अगर आप WhatsApp पे
अच्छा अच्छा,
share
yeah,
करें.
yeah, definitely I'll share it in the WhatsApp group. Great, then thank you, Shweta,
Thank
and
you.
thank you, Snehi, for
Thank you,
joining.
Monica. Thank you so
Take care.
much.
Bye.